Good afternoon, class. This is Professor Estrada. Welcome to the Integrated Reading and Writing 0302 class, 100% online, Spring 2026, first 8 weeks. Welcome. This is just a simple weekly lecture video that you will be seeing the beginning of each of the weeks, so that way you have a lecture video to go with the content. This just helps me familiarize what we will be doing as if we were in class. Naturally, if we were an in-person class, you would see a video or a lecture and it would help you kind of go into what is happening. But I wanted to show you what it looks like as in the online course. So the course is set up in Brightspace. This is the platform. This is the homepage of your course. It says online. This is your banner. One of the things that I would like you to understand is the content tab and the grades tab. Those are the top buttons that we will be using for this class, along with simple syllabus. So mine may be looking a little bit differently because I'm the instructor, but I wanted to show you what it looks like for you. This is the homepage. This is where you will see on the left side tab, announcements, recaps, anything that is of importance. I would like you to always look at it. I am very active when it comes to maintaining that timeliness when it comes to grades and recap videos. And if you were absent for a couple of days, this is what we did, or hey, this is at a glance what we're about to do and important due dates. I like to write that for you because while this is self-paced, it is week by week due dates. So it's good if you check out for a couple of days, because then you can always go back and you can look at how due dates are assigned within that folder, what is within that folder, what you need to do, and if anything extra pops in. The good thing about this class is that while I like to do that, there's often extra little tidbits that you may find along the way. Okay, so on the right side tab of the homepage, you have my contact information. I'm about to open up the syllabus so that you see that as well. We are 0302, section 60, 100% online, no textbook required. One of the things, before you familiarize yourself with the content or anything like that, one of the things that I would like you to look at is while there is this work to do box, you see that, and the calendar, they're great. They have details, they have due dates, and notice that some due dates are not in order. So one thing that I will hopefully have you do is always refer to the syllabus or the weekly folder due date. They go by week to week, so we will open up technically Monday, January 20th at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we will stretch until that Sunday, January 25th at 11:59. So while these calendar due dates or this module may say a different thing, always refer to what the folder will say. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the content. Okay, and notice that some of these things should be and are available already to you. And while we go into the week one, day one, or the first day of school, some of the week one stuff will always be available. So if you're seeing this tomorrow, which is January 20th, welcome. But if you're seeing this early, thank you. So we have the simple syllabus. That is where you can go in real time and see the syllabus itself. But understand that you will be going and clicking on tabs. Some of these tabs are highlighted or indented to indicate that they may be hidden. I will open these up in the manner that they need to be. We have the course syllabus. I open this tab and it just says welcome. There's a video if you would like to look at it. It's an introduction video. It's very short and simple. I clicked on this course syllabus and it has the link to the simple syllabus, the syllabus itself with everything that's needed, and the course calendar. Now the course calendar is just that. It just has the assignments. It's got all that stuff, but the syllabus has everything that you could possibly need regarding the class. And I went ahead and opened it so that way we can take a quick refresh on it. That way you know about it. So this is the syllabus for this class. You are always welcome to go back and refer to it. It tells you the section. It tells you that it's 100% online, that it's spring 2026, first 8 weeks. And I am based in the Hillsboro campus. My office is office 246. I do have in-person office hours, but at any time, especially with it being an online class, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. You're more than welcome to communicate with me at any time. Those are just in case you're ever on standby, if you're ever in the neighborhood, or if you just need to know what I'm doing. This class is paired as a remedial integrated reading and writing class, meaning that you would have to have passed the TSI or in the process of going into the TSI with the English 1301. it pairs with those classes. So a successful completion would mean that you go into a 1301, already into a 1301. But we're all learners and readers, and this is just a good process class to go into that step. We're looking at the objectives for this course. We're going to be looking at student learning. And because it's an online course, I want to reiterate some of the following things. There's no assigned textbook that you could possibly need for this course. Everything will be made available in Brightspace. Because it's an online course, I keep saying that. One of the things that I should ask is that you are timely in what you give as effort. I would say at least an hour or two every other day, so that way you can keep up with the load that is asked of you in that class. As we're not meeting in class once or twice a week, it's really hard to kind of go back to that structure, especially if there's more work or content within that folder. But give yourself time. Things happen. Allow yourself the ability to, one, log into the course. Give yourself time to do that. A planner, a journal, a to-do list, things that let you know that all your supplies are needed. You will need access to the internet because we will be using Brightspace exclusively with everything that we need in the class. We are writing 2 essays in the class. We write a narrative essay at the beginning of the class, and then towards the end we write our second essay, which is an argumentative essay. So with this, you will need access to Microsoft Word or some type of compatible platform, because you will be submitting it as a writing assignment, as an essay. Those things will be needed. So through your student account, you are given access to Office 365. You are given, I think, Excel, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Word. You are more than welcome to reach out to me if I can show you how to get there. Some people have trouble, and some people automatically are given it based off of their student account. And that is one way of having to be able to have that without having to use other resources. One of the things that I will say is, if you're turning in an assignment as an essay and I cannot read it through a web link or an attachment or anything, I cannot grade it. So it has to be as it's required. Emailing me is just simple as that. You're more than welcome to email me through the actual Brightspace. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Through the actual Brightspace envelope, email or instant message, or through your student account, student@hillcollege.edu, however that looks like. But please bear in mind to consider the politeness of electronic communication. Include your course and section. Because I teach multiple classes, I may teach three integrated reading and writing classes, but different sections. I may teach one in person, one online. I also teach American literature. I also teach 1301 and 1302 of English. So I may have 4 Jessicas. So if you're Jessica number 1, also tell me your last name and what class you're in, because I would like to know how to respond and reply to you in the best way. What if one class is in quiz 1, but another class is working on quiz 4, and you have a question, but you don't specify? I would like to have been able to pull up that information for you. So when you communicate with me, just make sure that it's something that I can be able to expand on, or if I have to look into what you're asking for. I won't respond if you send me an email through Hotmail, Yahoo, anything like that. Be sure to send me through your student account, as spam goes to another folder. And make sure that you're putting a proper subject line. Like I said, if you're just saying, hey, I need this, I wouldn't know what it is or the section. So let's be let's have courtesy in that. Anything that could be a PDF, Adobe Reader is free. You're more than welcome to use that and download things. This is also an online class, as I've stated before, so attendance is vital in the class to be able to log in and complete things, as everything is not explored all at once and not everything is uploaded all at once. The folder for that said week 1, week 2, week 3 will always be there. So logging into a week, yes, logging in is its own separate aspect, but also completing the stuff in that week helps out. So if you miss more than 4 combined weeks of class, week 1, week 2, week 3, and you don't do nothing, it does affect your grade. Going into a class. So if it starts on January 20th at 8 o'clock in the morning through Sunday, January 25th, my settings indicate and show me that if you've been in the class. It won't show me how long you were in the class or if you've done 1 or 2 assignments. It just shows me that you logged in for that said week. and that would count as my attendance for that week. It doesn't have to be every day that you're logging in. Just 1 day or 2 days out of that week suffices for attendance for that week. But please, please make sure that you log in during that week at any time. With this class also being completely online, as mentioned, I like to set aside conferences for students that have questions, students that can't reach me on a normal day-to-day basis. If we were in person, I actually set aside time in class and not have class, but students just meet me in case they have questions about their student outcome of success, anything of that nature. But for this class, online, I actually wrote it in my syllabus that there are a few times where if you have questions during that week or that day, feel free to let me know, as I would want to help you in that. During this time, I set aside time in the afternoon or in the morning during office hours or outside of office hours with the Zoom or platform. Ask me the questions. Ask me the questions before, ask me the questions during or towards the end, so that there's no surprises. If you stopped attending in week 4 and we're already in week 7, let's see what we can do. Okay? And I always try to look at my schedule to make availability for that. Classroom etiquette, we are completely online. Please have courtesy to those around you within the online environment, whether it's a discussion board, whether it's communicating with me or somebody else. We are all learners and we all come from different paths of life. So this is always really kind to know and understand. Show respect to others. All of our writing assignments will be submitted through Brightspace. I won't accept anything via an email attachment or photo or web link. Sometimes those get lost in the universe. Sometimes they go to the beyond place and I can't recover them. So if a module is set or a quiz, it will always be, just like everything else, in Brightspace. And I'll show you what that is. Additionally, essays have to be typed out, Microsoft Word or other, for them to be submitted. They cannot be sent to an email and we magically grade them like that. One of the things that I also want to take time for is, while some others may not accept late work, some others may accept it. I do with the pretense of late work is just that. But I also utilize the idea that life happens and life is uncontrollable. So with that being said, I allow extensions or late passes within a class. And a little bit about that is in this section right here. It says, every semester is often met with challenges. Sometimes life happens and things don't go beyond our control. So twice this semester, you are given a chance to use a late pass or an extension on any assignment except the last ones found in the week 8 folder, without a late grade penalty. So everything within the week 1 content, so we're going into the week 1 content, it will start January 20th through January 25th. Everything that's in there is due within that week. While it is due January 25th at 11:59, you can still turn in things late. Okay, you can still turn in things late, but with a deduction of 25 points off. If something is not even turned in after its last 4 days, there's the 0, and I'll explain that here in a minute. But let's just say that you have a quiz that you need to do in week 1, and it's like the one thing left that you haven't done, and you don't have time. You don't want it to be counted late. You can use your late pass. You're given 2 per semester, and if you have a writing assignment due on that Sunday night, and you don't want me to mark it late, simply email me saying, Ms. Estrada, I would like to use my late pass number 1 or number 2, and use them wisely. I do end up giving extra ones throughout the semester, but always pay attention to how they're given. But extra late passes are just that. They're just extra time, up to 48 hours without me looking at it late or counting it late. I don't even consider it until I give it to you. So to apply for a late pass or an extension, you just simply email me by 10 o'clock on the day that it's due. So if it's due Sunday at 11:59, by 9 o'clock, you know that you're not going to finish it. Just email me and say, Mr. Estrada, I'm going to use my late pass. I, in turn, allow you a confirmation email saying that, 1, I received it. 2, I also give you its new due date. And you don't have to worry about it. And you complete it within those 2 days. And your grade reflects that. But it has to be submitted within that 10 o'clock time period. So, like I said, if it's a discussion board or a quiz and it's due on a Sunday night at 11:59, the late pass has to be sent to me by 10 p.m. Okay? And this is also found right here. So let's go into here. And the late pass is also this module right here. If you have to open it up, it tells you that as well. I made it bigger because it's that important. I also included an example email so that you're more than welcome to use this if you ever need to use a late pass for my class. And then I'm going to switch back. Okay. Additionally, you can turn in things late, but with each day, 25 points is knocked off up until the last possible day. Participation for the class, going into the class, logging in, checking on things, giving feedback, and communicating with me, that all takes into account into this class. And because this class also uses writing components of writing essays and perfecting the writing voice, our peer review workshops, we do in class. They may look different online as opposed to an in-person class. Online, it may be individual self-reflection, whereas in class, it may be looking at other people's drafts. But we do utilize that, and that is a component that I veer into. We also have all of our accommodations and all of our listings and rulings that you would like to look at. You're more than welcome to. We also have the grade determination, how everything is divided by points, by percentages, by letter grade. We're looking at attendance, participation, discussion boards, Essay 1, Essay 2, quizzes, submitted classwork, peer review, final exam, 2 parts, final exam 1, final exam 2, and writing prompt journals, which are daily entries, and a unit of mechanics exam. Okay, so this is the course calendar. Notice that the course calendar is subject to change at the expense of the instructor. This means that sometimes life happens to me or to you, or something happens and they may overlap. I might give you extra days. Always refer to what the syllabus due date is. So this is week 1, part 1, and notice that there's a week 1, part 2. This is highlighted as if we meet 2 times a week. If we were to meet on a Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday, you would have a part 1 or day 1, and then you would have a part 2 or day 2. So this is January 20th through January 25th. Everything included in the part 1 is due Sunday, January 25th. Okay, including the part 2, January 20th through January 25th. So all of this, week 1, part 1 and part 2, it will all be due Sunday, January 25th. I do apologize for that. So let's go in, and this should say Sunday, January 25th. I don't know why it says that. Okay, so let's go in and let's look at this, and I'll go ahead and fix that in a minute. So this is the week 1, part 1 folder. The week 1, part 1 folder, I clicked on the module, and it has the slides that you will need for the week or the part. It has the following things that we will look at. So for the week 1, part 1 folder, it has lecture slides, an icebreaker discussion board. There's a handout that I would simply like you to read, glance at. You're not being tested on it or anything. It's just to glance at and review. And after you skim this, I would like you to answer the discussion board. And notice, the content for week 1, part 1 is due Sunday, January 25th. And one of the things that I will like to point out is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this page. So it says that the week 1 Sunday due date is Sunday, January 25th for all of these things within this folder, right? One of the things that I will say is if you go onto the home page, all the way down here, the work to do or the calendar may say differently. That is because, just like I said in my syllabus, that you are allowed extra days to turn in stuff. So while the due date for many of these things will say January 25th, the work to do or the calendar may say for the 4 extra days. Mind you, the 4 extra days that you are given to keep turning in stuff even later. So always refer to the assignment due date itself or the syllabus. Okay. So let's go into the lecture slides. And these are my lecture slides as if we were to be in class. This is the section, completely online. It tells you what integrated reading and writing is. Integrated reading and writing is a developmental course that will use your critical and thinking skills. You'll look at advanced grammar mechanics, sentence structure and the use of standard English, reading comprehension, and much more. It gives you the description, just like I've mentioned, the core objectives of the class, what is the TSI, and the introduction for today. Introduction, welcome to the class, welcome. And the review of the syllabus, we've already done that. Navigation of Brightspace and email, introduction of the week 1 folder, how you would navigate into the course, and email. And then our week 1, day 1 online content, an icebreaker discussion board, the effective writer handout, read before completing discussion board number 1, in reflection to it, discussion board number 1, and the word count link. So let's go into that real quick. So we have our first discussion board, and if you're looking at this in real time, this is what you're seeing. The icebreaker discussion board, to familiarize yourself with that, is just that. It's just to introduce yourself to the class, becoming more acquainted with how a discussion board works, and it's just that. So while you may see all these little eyes, this just says that it's hidden. It should be available to you here shortly. It just says to read the following discussion board prompt and answer some of the following questions. Notice that due date, Sunday, January 25th. While the calendar on this homepage may say differently, it just says differently because it adds the 4 extra days that you are given to turn in stuff. So always refer to the due date listed. And it just says to answer some of the following. You don't have to answer all of them. You can number, you can bullet, however you would like to. And then you are going to start your new thread. To start a new thread, you can type in a subject line if you just want to write introduction or about me. You can bullet number test. I'm going to put test for video, so that way everyone knows that this was me doing this. And notice that it starts counting the words. There is and there will be forthcoming discussion videos, discussion boards that will ask you to number or count your words. And I have a resource included in this folder to show you how to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and post. And while you will see others, the more that they post, the more that you'll see others. If it asks you to reply to others, there will be a second step. Sometimes steps just require you to post by yourself. You're more than welcome to change it in any font, any color, as long as I can read it. Okay, and then there's a handout. The handout should be accessible to you. It is a PDF. Just simply glance at it. It's not asking you to go ahead and highlight or do anything like that or heavy reading. It's just simply asking you what are the features of effective writing and some of the habits of what you do in writing. And then our next discussion board number 1, they'll be shortened like this so that way it's easier for them to be titled. And it says, after reading the handout, consider some of the following questions. You will need a word count of 150 to 200 words. And here in a minute, I'll show you where the resources to count your words for that. It says to post after you answer all these, to make it your own post, and then to reply to other people. So notice that there's nobody here. This is just my test video, right? And so there shouldn't be other people working on this. But as more submissions come in, you'll start seeing that. But I will post, right? I will go ahead and post. And then it also says to wait for other people to post in that word count. That is to say that your original post will get you a certain grade, but to reply to others, your post may be added to more points or may be subtracted depending on what happens. So if the step does ask you to reply to others, please consider replying to others as well. And then in case you would like to know how to reply to others, I've given examples right here. You're more than welcome to use these or change these to the bit of your nature. And then it says the due date. Notice that due date, Sunday, January 25th at 11:59. So let's just say that you forget to do this discussion board. You're more than welcome to use a late pass as long as it's sent to me by 10 o'clock that day, or you can always turn it in late with points deducted. And then the word count link. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is the word count link. It just simply counts your words for you. So let's just say that you need 400 words. Just add them. They'll count for you. You are more than welcome to copy and paste it into this website and go back in. But a lot of people just use it as such. Okay. So at a glance, that is the week 1, day 1 lecture slides. All of this, mind you, will be available to you, so you don't have to worry about those little symbols. We're now going to go into the week 1, part 2. Notice it's got a couple of more extra things in there because it is going in. So this is the week 1, part 2 folder. It's got the lecture slides. we're now going to go into our lecture slides that tie into our first essay, which is a narrative essay. There are 2 videos that I would like you to look at. Your first journal prompt and your first quiz. Again, all of it encompasses a week 1 due date, January 25th at 11:59. And whilst the instructions for the essay is posted in this folder, fear not, it's not due until anytime soon. Okay, so let's go into the week 1, day 2 folder lecture slides. If it would like to show up. Okay, here it is. So these are my lecture slides for the week 1, part 2. Okay, it tells you what's the contents for the week 1, part 2. And what, again, as a review, what is integrated reading and writing, the course objective, why we're taking this class, how to get into the class and navigate it, navigation of email, late work reminder. You're more than welcome to review this. It just tells you the late work policy, but also how I accept late work. This is the content for week 1, day 2. All of these things are also visible. Okay, so as we go into the content, we have to understand and think like a writer. One of the best and effective ways, as I begin this lecture, is to consider the fact that we have to go back to the basic, simple things. As writers, our writing is either formed or unpolished. We have to rethink what writing really is. To become better, we must get back to the basics, which means the basics of grammar, the basics of parts of speech, and the basics of what makes a sentence. So we have to consider this class to help us find our voice, perfect our voice, and polish it. We have to go back to the basics. It's one of the rudimentary things that we have to do. So when given that, let's go back and do a little bit of parts of speech review. We got to go to our nouns. Nouns are persons, place, or things. You find it useful whenever you start naming something. Computer, mile, joy. Parts of speech review. We got people, places, things. We have proper nouns. Proper nouns are given to the name of a person, place, or thing, a title, capitalized. A proper noun always starts with a capital letter. Our verbs. Verbs are what you do. You swim, write, think, play, clap. You find it useful in thinking of doing words. What are verbs? Verbs can be physical actions, mental actions, states of being. We go into our adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. The tall boy, the smelly boy, the happy boy. Adjectives are parts of speech that describe some extra information, the size, the texture, the shape, the feeling, the time, and why capitalization is so important. Again, while this is just good stuff, many of this always refers to what we do within the content itself. So while the lecture slides may talk about parts of speech, parts of a sentence, they may appear later on in an assignment, like a quiz or content, or even just going into what that is. So we have to understand that parts of a speech are vital because whenever we go into looking at topic sentences and detail sentences, these are things that formulate them. We look at topic sentences. Topic sentences understand that they carry all of these things, nouns, adjectives, capitalization, and then going into what an essay is. We have to understand that there's sentences, there's paragraphs, and then there's essays. And so now we have to understand that paragraphs come with all of these things, like topic sentences. Topic sentences are a review of supporting details. Topic sentences begin the paragraph and allow us to be drawn into what follows. A topic sentence states the main idea or the point. Supporting sentences. And then we look at supporting details of what supporting sentences are. They can be examples, facts, testimonies, reasons, or personal observations. Okay, so it was a little bit of parts of speech review, parts of a sentence, going into details and supporting sentences, and then we go into what a narrative essay is. So for our first essay, which is just the instructions, we're going to look at what an essay is as a narrative. A narrative essay is an essay comprised of a narrative that answers a prompt. The key element of a narrative essay is defined point of view delivered by emotions and sensory details by the reader. It is considered a reflection piece. It is a point of view maintained by you, written by you, words by you. And now let us look at your first essay. So you are more than welcome to do this on your own. This is nothing that you have to do or submit. There's no submission module. If we were in class, I would have everybody draw out the circle and they would fill this in for me. But as an online class, we can just imagine and we can follow along to it. People that have done it in class or online, they just keep the paper. There's no grade to it. It just helps them always reflect back on what could go into an essay. As opposed to what can go into a paragraph if they forget what goes into a paragraph. So let's just consider that these are slices of a pie chart, and each of these slices can be considered paragraphs. We understand that we start off with our topic. We have to start brainstorming and understand what goes into the topic. So first of all, we have to understand that what is the idea that I'm trying to present? Do we know what the topic is in general? So if our topic is a narrative, what specific is it? Is it my childhood? Is it my adolescence? Is it my future? What is it about me that I'm trying to present? So oftentimes, to go back into brainstorming, we have to understand that all of these slices could be considered paragraphs, possible paragraphs, or mandatory paragraphs to help us build our essay. And one of the things that we always have to understand that there's always an introduction. What main idea am I trying to present? Again, you don't have to write all this out. This is just very helpful. If you ever want to just keep this for your standards, you're more than welcome to. But if we were in person, we would be writing it out just so that students can go back to it. Okay. Another possible paragraph that you can consider when you're writing your essay is time. Do you have prior experience, specifics, location, season? Because this is coming from you, you need to build off of sensory details. You need to build off of examples. We're not there with you, so elaborate on everything. Who were you with? What did you see? What time of day? Moods and emotions. How does this topic make me feel? Was it when you were 6 years old and you were scared and you went to SeaWorld and you got lost? Tell us a little bit more about it as if we weren't there. We understand that this could be an essay that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Are those components visible? We have details. Your story should be able to paint a picture. It should be able to help us flow throughout one point to another. Your voice, you, should be evident, clear, authentic, and true. You should be able to hear you throughout the whole thing. I should be able to know that this is you starting as, in the middle of, and at the end. The approach. Is there an audience? Are there other things that make this memorable? And as we go into the traditional setting of an essay, we have our introduction, and then we end with a conclusion. What was important about the topic? Why did I choose this topic? This is just a pie chart. A lot of people just keep it as is. They don't have to turn it in or anything. But if you ever just want to make your own, this is also always good for you to go back to as a reference point. Okay? So this is the narrative essay instructions. Again, just the instructions themselves are in here. It's not due anytime soon. But let's look at our first essay instructions. Our first essay instructions is essay 1. It says, for this assignment, you will write a thesis-driven essay from a narrative point of view with the addressed topics listed. Each of these will be separate body paragraphs. You will narrate and write on the following themes only. So the 3 that are in bold, that's what you're expanding on. You'll have an introduction that talks about them, but each of these will be your body paragraphs. What was your favorite place, memory, or person, or treasured keepsake when you were newborn to 10 years old? What was your favorite place, memory, person, or treasured keepsake during your teenage years, 11 till about 18? And what is your favorite place, memory, person, or treasured keepsake during your present years, your current age till now? So, place, memory, person, or treasured keepsake. They're not all going to be people. They don't all have to be people. One can be a place when you were a kid. One can be your favorite person when you're adolescents, and now it could be just something that you treasure always. Each of these 3 items will be separate paragraphs. You can label whatever you would like to if you just want to put it my favorite or my life. But because we're just learning how to go into a narrative, we have to expand on what these things are. They're chapters, they're perspectives from our life, from different times. The purpose of this essay is to be able to elaborate and have a clear understanding of the subject material and understand what a narrative essay does. We're going to look at making sure that it's mostly error-free, providing feedback with others or ourselves, and writing our first essay. So for this essay, it gives you a chance to apply the practices of an actual academic paper. We're going to be using Times New Roman size 12, which is why Microsoft Word or compatible is evident and needed. It will be double spaced, proper indented paragraphs. The essay should have a title, not nothing basic, but please put something that elaborates and differentiates yours from somebody else's. 1-inch margins, and notice that essay length. Because it's double spaced, proper indented paragraphs, you're going to be making sure that it fits a proper word count and proper format. Your name at the top, first and last, your course name and section, integrated reading and writing 0302 section 60, my name, and the date. This essay will be electronically turned in and may need to be typed on Microsoft Word or Google Doc compatible. If I cannot view it, I cannot download it. And this is our criteria. You should be able to write a clear thesis-driven paper showing me these things, elaborating on these things. We weren't with you. I want you to be able to tell a story through your words. Narrative essay means in the form of a story. Address the topic. Use I, me, myself. This is simply the instructions. The module for this will be found in the Week 4 Part 1 folder. It has to be submitted there. Once we get there, and if you need help, let me know. But notice the due date. It's not anywhere time soon, but this is the due date. Essay 1 will be due no later than Tuesday, February 10th at 11:59 p.m. After this, it starts automatically becoming deducting. You do and are allowed a late pass for this essay, but bear in mind that that essay late pass will be February 10th by 10 p.m. And the only thing that you're turning in for this essay is the final copy. And this is the grade scheme for this essay. We're looking at selecting details, academic context, focus, the introduction, the conclusion, the structure, mechanics, and grammar. And so I even included an outline. I don't know why it did that and it spaced it out like that, but I even included what could go in each possible paragraph. So that way it's helpful for you. So as you start this paragraph, consider the following. This is just a possible outline. You're more than welcome to take as is or not use it at all. Some people have found it very helpful. But the first paragraph, introduce the topic. Why is it important to you? Those three things, person, place, thing. Person, place, thing. As we reviewed nouns, they came in to help for the assistance of this essay. Person, place, memory, or treasured keepsake during your childhood years, your adolescence, and your adult. And then it starts with the body paragraphs. Point 1, discuss your favorite place, memory, person, or treasured keepsake when you were a child. Who, what, when, where. Body paragraph 2, during your adolescence or your youth. And body paragraph 3, during your now. And then conclusion, use this paragraph to connect the focus points from body paragraphs. What makes them all so special? Which one do you have preference more to? If I only remember people from my childhood, I'll talk about people. If I have treasured keepsakes now, I'll be sure to elaborate on that. But that's just the instructions, okay? So it's not due anytime soon. It's just the instructions. I also have 2 videos that I would like you to open up. How to write a paragraph video and how to write a 5-paragraph essay. They're just videos. In case the web links are locked or they don't work, feel free to let me know. Going in, you also are going to be using journal prompts. And these journal prompts are just that, for creative writing. They kind of help us lessen the load away from academic writing. But I also want to hear from you. So in the fact that weekly journal prompts are just that, just submit yours. You don't have to worry about replying to anybody else. It's just write the prompt and go. Any prompt will change out. This one says its due date is January 25th, while the calendar, the home page may say something else. Always refer to this due date. After Sunday, January 25th, I just deduct points, with the last possible day being Thursday, January 29th. But it just goes in, and it's just going to ask you a prompt, and you're just going to answer the prompt in however many sentences. It's meant to be a closed journal so that you don't have to reply to anybody else. So I'm going to start a new thread. I'm going to be saying test. I'm just going to type this so that way you have it. You don't have to reply to anybody else. You just post. Color, font, as long as it's legible, is perfectly fine for me. And then your quiz 1. Quiz 1 is parts of speech, grammar, and review. Notice that due date. It allows you 2 attempts. I'm trying not to show the rest of it, just the instructions, but it does have a due date. It gives you 40 minutes to complete it with 2 attempts, and I take the highest one. So everything in the week 1 part 2 folder and everything in the week 1 part 1 folder are due Sunday, January 25th. And at any point, always refer to the home page. While these are great for the week to do or a calendar or whatever it is that you're going to go into, always refer to what the syllabus says and or the content due date for that assignment. If you have any questions, let me know.